Hello dear students, welcome to all. My name is Yashdeep Sharma, your mathematics faculty. And today onward, we will going to start class 10th mathematics. But dear students, before going to start class 10th mathematics, we will introduce about our module. What is our module? Our module is a book which you prefer for practicing the questions for all types of examinations, such as board level exams and various types of competitive exams. So let's start the introduction of module. In this module, you will get the complete theory and four types of exercises. First of all, you will get the theory, and this theory is topic wise theory, and after this every topics you will get solved examples, and after the solved example you will get check your progress questions, and these check your progress questions are unsolved questions. And the answer for this check your progress questions are given below, and after these three you will get four exercises. First is board level exercise. In this board level exercise you will get four types of questions. First type of question is very short answer type question. These very short answer type questions are directly formula based or directly theory based, or we can say these are the one line questions. And the next is short type questions, short answer type question. These short answer type questions are it is also directly formula based but use basic concept for the theory. And the next is long answer type question, and the next is very long answer type question. These long answer type or questions or very long answer type questions are the conceptual questions, or in the examination these types of questions are asked in the 4 marks in the board level examinations or school level examination. These four types of questions are subjective questions which helps you to prepare school level examination. Now after the board level examination you will get second first exercise number 1. This is the first, which is board level exercise. Then after this you will get exercise 1. Exercise 1. In this exercise you will get two types of questions in two parts. In first part you will get subjective questions, in first part, and the second is part 2. In first part you will get subjective questions, subjective, then the part 2 is objective. Exercise, the questions in the exercise 1 in both part 1 and part 2 are topic wise for preparing the concept of all the topics separately. The next is exercise 2. In the exercise 2 you will get the questions of competitive exam level. You will get the questions of competitive exam level which will help you to develop logical thinking. Okay, then after the exercise 2 you will get the fourth exercise, which is exercise 3. in that you will get the questions of NTSC exam, NTSC stage 2, NTSC stage 2, NTSC stage 1, NTSC stage 1 of all the states of India. We tried to cover all the questions asked in the previous year of all states of India for exam NTSC stage 1. Now I hope after doing such questions you don't require to prefer any other book to prepare any type of exam. It can be school level exam or it can be competitive level exam, because in these exercises all the types of questions are covered, so you don't require to prefer any other book. It is sufficient to all of you, because this module is prepared by the very expert faculties scientifically for the students. Okay, now after this detailed introduction of our module, let's start our first chapter. First chapter of class 10th mathematics is real number. You all know about the real numbers and you are very familiar to number, because without the number our life is incomplete. This is the complete chapter outline. First of all, we discuss about the classification of number, then Euclid division lemma, Euclid division algorithm, the fundamental theory of arithmetic. In short, we can call it as FTA. And the next is number of factors, then HCF and LCM, which is the application of fundamental theory of arithmetic. We start our chapter with the classification of number, which we already discussed in the earlier classes such as 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th class, but we again revise all the concept, all the theory related to classification of number in today's class, and one by one we complete all the topics in the first chapter of class 10 mathematics, that is real numbers. After the chapter outline, this is the mind map how we cover all the topics in class 10 mathematics, that is irrational real number. Then under the real number we study about the irrational number and rational numbers, and we study about the irrational numbers, irrational number, then rational number, and rational numbers, terminating rational numbers, non-terminating but recurring, then Euclid division lemma, Euclid division algorithm. Then we study about the fundamental theory of arithmetic. Then we go to the application of fundamental theory of arithmetic, that is the HCF and LCM. This is the complete mind map of class 10 first chapter, that is real number mind map. Okay, so let's start with the classification of number. As I earlier said that you all very know about the numbers, and in the previous classes you already study about that, but let's introduce again with the numbers, because in the competitive examinations some questions are directly asked from the properties of numbers, which are very interesting or logically to solve. So let's start with the classification of numbers. First classification of number, or we can say first type of a number, is natural number. Again, we all are very familiar with the natural number, because natural numbers are what? Natural numbers are just counting numbers. What is natural numbers? Natural numbers are just counting numbers. If I say how many pens you have, then you have to count from 1, 2, 3 and so on. That means you have to counting from the 1. So the set of counting number, or set of counting number is natural number, and we represent natural number by n. We represent natural number by capital N. This is what? Natural number. So let's discuss some examples of natural number. 2, 3, 505, etc. All are the natural numbers, and we also use natural number for ordering. Ordering means which country is largest country, which country is second largest country, which country is third largest country. These types of all statements are ordering statement. So for ordering we have to use natural numbers. Okay, so these all are the natural number 2 3 5 0 5 etc. Now let's discuss about the set of natural numbers. The set of natural number is n. N, again I repeat my words, n is what? N is natural number, and we represent set of natural number as n is equal to 1 2 3 4 and so on. What is the meaning of this so on? We cannot calculate what is the largest natural number. If someone asks you what is the largest natural number, then you don't have answer for this question. You can answer the question of but which is the smallest natural number, then your answer is 1. But you cannot answer that question, what is the largest natural number? We cannot identify it. Okay, so after the natural number, the second type of number is whole number. What is the whole number? If we add 0 in the natural number, in the set of natural number, then we will get the set of whole number. 0 is again very important number, and 0 is the matter of pride for us, because we are Indian and Indian mathematician discovered the 0. So 0 is the pride for every Indian. So if in the set of natural numbers, if we add 0, then it will be the set of whole number, and whole number is represented by capital W. Capital W, and the set of whole number is 0 1 2 3 and so on. Again we cannot identify the largest whole number, but the smallest whole number is 0. Now there are two circles. One circle is small and other circle is larger. Small circle represent the natural numbers and the large circle represent the whole number. That means every whole number is a natural number. Sorry, every natural number is a whole number, but it should not be every whole number is natural number. We can say that every natural number is a whole number. Every natural number is a whole number, but we cannot say that every whole number is a natural number, because 0 is a whole number which is not a natural number. Except the 0, all the whole numbers are natural number. So after the whole number, let's discuss about the third type of number, that is integer. Integer are represented by I or Z. Sometimes it is represented by I and sometimes it is represented by Z. Okay, now what is the integers? We discussed that first type of a number is natural number and then whole number. For the whole number we add 0 in the natural number. Okay, and if we add 0 natural number and the negative of natural number, 0 natural number and negative of natural number, then the set of these three types of a number is known as integers, and integer is represented by I or Z. So we can write the collection of integer is, or set of integer is, I or Z is equal to minus infinity to infinity. Here we cannot identify which is the smallest integer. We cannot answer this question which is the smallest integer, we cannot identify, and which is the largest integer, we cannot identify it again. Okay, but if someone asks which is the smallest positive integer, then it is 1. Okay, so the next type of the numbers is rational number. What are the rational numbers? Rational numbers are those numbers which can be represented in the form of p by q. What it means? It means if x is a rational number, then it can be represented in the form of p by q, and there p and q both are belongs to integers, and q should not equal to 0. And dear students, one important point is that p, q both are belongs to co-primes. Co-primes is also a types of number, and if you don't know about the co-primes, then don't be panic. We will discuss about the co-primes in the next slides. Okay, so come to the rational numbers. For example, 7 by 3 is a rational number because 7 and 3 both are the integers. So this is the form of P by Q. So it is a rational number. Minus 7 by 2, it is also a rational number. Minus 141 divided by 5 is also a rational number. Dear students, 0 is also a rational number, because we can write 0 as 0 divided by 1, 0 divided by 142, or 0 divided by any integer. So it becomes the form of P by Q. So we can say that 0 is a rational number. Next type of a number is irrational number. The numbers which cannot be represented in the P by Q form, or we can say that the number which that are not rational numbers, all are rational numbers. Okay, we will discuss very deeply about the irrational numbers in our next classes. Okay, so don't panic about what is the irrational number. Today I just introduce about that, but we will discuss about the irrational number very deeply in our next classes. Okay, we can take some examples for irrational numbers such as root 3, root 2, pi, etc. These all are the irrational numbers. How these numbers are irrational numbers, how we can say that these numbers are irrational numbers, we will discuss all these things in our next classes. So after the irrational number, we will discuss about the real number. Now what is the real number? We will earlier we discussed about the natural number, whole number, then integers, then rational number. Now we discuss about the real number. Real number is what? The number which can be represented actual physical quantity. That means the number which can represent actual physical quantity, or we can say that the number which can be used in our day-to-day life. The number which can use our daily day-to-day life is a real number. For example, if I say what is your height, then you can say that 6 feet, 7 feet, 8 feet. You cannot say that is root 3 feet, root 2 feet, or pi feet. But you can measure something in root 2, root 3. It is also a real number. But height is 6 feet, 7 feet, or some inches. Again, we can say that number which can be represented on a number line. The numbers which can be represented on a real number line are also known as real number. So all the numbers which we studied earlier, natural number, whole number, integers, rational and irrational, all numbers are real numbers. All numbers are real numbers. So real number includes all rational and irrational numbers, as I earlier discussed with you. Now this is the complete Venn diagram of numbers. There are real numbers. This large circle includes all the rational numbers, and this another circle represents irrational number, and these two circles include the collection of real number. And in the rational number, the small circle is integer, and in the integer the small circle is whole, and in the whole number the small circle is for natural numbers. Okay, now these all in the collection of all numbers is known as real numbers. Now after this, the classification of number, let's move on. The next type of a number is prime number. Prime numbers are very important for us, and in the competitive exams questions are directly from the property of prime. Okay, so we will discuss this type of questions in our next slides. First of all, discuss about the prime number. What is the prime number and what is the property of prime number? So in the math, prime numbers are whole number greater than 1 that have only two factors, that is 1 and number itself. Means prime number is what? The first criteria for the prime number is it is greater than 1. Greater than 1 means 1 is not a prime number. Prime number should be greater than 1. Then the next criteria is what? The next criteria is it has only two factors. It has only two factors, that is 1 and number itself. What it means? It means the prime number cannot be further divided in small natural numbers. Let's explain. Let us understood with one example. If you use number 3, what is 3? 3 has only two factors, that is 1 and 3, because 1 multiplied by 3 is 3. But if you take 4, then it has 1 into 4. You can write it as 2 into 2. So there is a various types of factor for 4. 1 into 4 and 2 into 2, both are 4. So according to definition, 4 is not a prime number because it has different factors except 1 and number itself. But for the 3 has only two factors, that is 1 and 3. And the other definition of the prime number is prime numbers are divided only by the number 1 or itself. The prime number should be divided by 1 or itself. For example is x. If x is the prime number, then it should be divided by 1 or x itself. There is no other number except the 1 or x that divides the x if x is the prime number. So here let's take one more example. 5 is again only two factors, 1 or 5. So 3 is a prime number, 5 is a prime number, but 4 is not a prime number. So if we take the set of prime numbers, then again what about the 2? 2 has only two factors, 1 and 2, so it is also prime. So if we take about the set of prime numbers, then it is 2, 3, 4 is not a prime number, 5, 7, 11, 13, 19 and so on. Okay, these all are the prime numbers. If someone asks the question, what is the smallest prime number? Then the smallest prime number is 2. And 2 is the only even prime number. 2 is the only even prime number. 2 is only even prime number. Except 2, no even number is a prime number. So prime number is what? Prime number, first criteria for the prime number is number should be greater than 1, and the second criteria is it has only two factors, that is 1 and number itself. Okay, now one more thing for the prime number is 1 is not the prime number. 1 is not the prime number. I already discussed it, but I repeat my words. 1 is not the prime number because prime number should be greater than 1. If you will get the number, then how can you identify it is prime or not? That is the big question for you. If you get 42, if someone asks you that check 42 is a prime or not, then we have to do prime factorization for this. What are the prime factorization of 42? 2 into 3 into 7. That means 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 7. 2 3 is 6, 6 7 is 42. According to the rule, according to the definition, 42 is not a prime number because it has more than two factors, 2, 3, 7 and 1. It has a 4 factors, or it has a 4 divisor. So it is not a prime. So 42 is not a prime number, but 42 is a small number. You can prime factorize 42 very easily, but sometime you will get big number, you cannot directly factorize that numbers. So how can you identify that type of a number that are prime or not? So let's discuss that with some examples. Identification of a prime number. So let's understand with example. First example is 111 is prime or not. So how you identify this number is prime or not? The first step for this is step 1. The step 1 is we have to check what is the square root of 111. If you check, the square root of 111 is in between the 10 or 11. Why? Because the square of 10 is 100 and square of 111 is 121. So we can say that the square root of 111 is less than 11 but greater than 10. Now the step 2 is note down all the prime numbers which are less than 11. Prime numbers less than 11, that are 2, 3, 5, 7, 2, 3, 5, 7. Now we have to divide 111 by these all prime numbers. If 111 is divisible by any one of these number, then it is not a prime. But 111 cannot be divisible by 2, 3, 5, 7, which are the prime number less than 11, then it is a prime number. So let's check, can 111 is divisible by 2? Not, it is not divisible. Can 111 is divisible by 3? Not. Yes, it is divisible by 3. Why it is divisible by 3? Because 111, the sum of these digits is 3 and the divisibility rule of 3 is sum of the digits of the number is should be divisible by 3. So we can say that 111 is divisible by 3. Now as earlier I said that if number is divisible by prime numbers smaller than 11, then it is prime number, then it should not be prime number. And if this number is not divisible by all the prime numbers smaller than 11, then it should be a prime number. So it is divisible by 3, then we can say that 111 is not prime number. 111 is not a prime number. Okay. So the next type of the number is co-prime numbers. What are the co-prime numbers? Co-prime numbers are those numbers which has HCF equal to 1. What it means? It means if X and Y, HCF of X and Y equal to 1, then we can say that X, Y are co-prime of each other. For example, 3, 5, 2, 9 and 3 and 7 or 4, 5. These are the examples of co-prime numbers. And students, X, Y should not be prime. It can be any type of natural numbers. So here 3 and 5 are co-primes, 2 and 9 are co-primes, and 2 and 9, here 9 is not a prime number. 3 and 7 are co-primes, 4 and 5 are co-primes. And dear students, one point should be noted here. 2 consecutive numbers. Two consecutive numbers always co-primes. For example, 6 7, 7 8, 9 10. These all are the examples of co-prime numbers. Next slide is for questions. Now we will discuss very important questions which are asked in the various types of Olympiads in previous years. The first question is, if p is a prime number, then number of factor p square have. You will give you will have the information that p is a prime number. P is what? P is a prime number. P is a prime number. P is prime number, and you have to find the number of factor p square have. You have to find number of factors p square have. P square is equal to, we can write p multiply by p, or we can write 1 into p square. Here, if p is a prime number, then we cannot divide p in two or more small natural numbers, because p is a prime number. It has a two factor only, 1 and p itself. So we can prime factorize p square as p into p, and if it is not equal to, it is not equal to 1 into p square, I write here only the factors. I write here only the factors of p square. Factors of p square is 1, p and p square. So we can say that p square has 3 factors. P square has 3 factors. If you have an option, then you have to choose option in which you will have number 3. So if p is the prime number, then p square have 3 factors. Next example is PQ are even numbers. PQ are even numbers and ST are odd number. Then 7p square plus 3q plus 5 multiplied by r plus s minus 7 multiplied by s plus t is even or odd. You have to check this expression is even or odd, and in this expression you will you have some variables, and you will have information that some variables are even and some variables are odd. By this given information, you have to identify that this given expression is even or odd by the property of even and odd. Here PQ are even numbers. PQR, these are even numbers, okay. And S and T are odd numbers. S and T are odd numbers. By this information, we have to identify that this expression is even or odd. What is our expression? In our expression, we have 7p square. Now let's check about the 7p square. P is what? P is even number. If p is an even number, then p square should be an even number, because even multiplied by even is equal to even. Okay, so p square is even number and 7 is an odd number. If odd multiply by even, then we will get again even number. Okay, for example, if we multiply 3 by 2, then we will get 6. 6 is an even number. So if we multiply even by odd, then we will get even number. So 7p square is even. 7p square is even. Now the next thing is 3q. Here q is what? Q is again even number. Q is again even number. and 3 is odd number. Odd into even is equal to even. It is a even. So even multiplied by odd, again we will get even number. After the 3 cube, we have 5 multiplied by r plus s. R plus s means r is what? Even number. S is what? S is odd number. S is odd number. And even plus odd, we will get odd number. For example, 3 plus 2 we will get 5. 5 plus 4 we will get 9. Means even plus odd gives odd number. And 5 is also odd. Odd multiplied by odd, 5 into 5, 25, it is also odd. So odd multiplied by odd is also odd. So this expression give odd number. Okay, we check these 3 numbers. Now the next is 7s plus t. S and T what? S and T are odd numbers. Odd plus odd gives even number. Odd plus odd, it gives even number. Odd plus odd gives even number, and even number multiplied by odd or any number, we will get even number again. Okay, now what will we get? Even plus even, even plus even, plus odd minus even. Okay, so even plus even, again even, and even plus odd, we will get odd, and odd minus even, we will get odd number. So our final answer is odd numbers. So this expression is odd. The answer of this expression will odd number. So the answer is odd. Okay, we have to identify this expression is even or odd. So the answer is odd. Clear? So dear students, next example is 2008 is the sum of 3 prime numbers. What is the least among these prime? This is also a very interesting question. So my suggestion is that please pause the video and try yourself. Okay, so let's start the solution of example 3, that is 2008 is sum of the 3 prime numbers. So we can write it as 2008 is equal to P1 plus P2 plus P3. Here P1, P2, P3 are 3 prime numbers, and we have to find least among P1, P2 and P3. Now students, if we assume that P1, P2, P3 all are odd numbers, so odd plus odd plus odd. We know that when we add two odd numbers, we will get even numbers. And again, if we add this even to this odd, we will get odd number. That means the result of P1 plus P2 plus P3 when all are odd, the result is odd number. And here 2008 is even number. So we can say that P1, P2, P3 all cannot be odd. One number should be among the P1, P2 and P3 is even number. And we know that only even prime is 2, and 2 is also a smallest prime number. So we can say that among P1, P2, P3, one number should be equal to 2. So the least prime number among the P1, P2, P3 is 2. So our answer is 2. 2 is correct answer for this question. So after this question, next question is, if A, B, C, D are distinct prime number with A is smallest prime number, then A multiplied by B multiplied by C multiplied by D should be. Means if A, B, C, D are distinct prime number, they are all different prime numbers, and A is the smallest prime number. In these four prime numbers, A is the smallest prime number. Then you have to identify that A multiplied by B multiplied by C multiplied by D is even number, odd number, or prime number. Okay, so let's check for this. Again, my suggestion is that, dear students, please pause this video and try to solve yourself, because if you try yourself, then you have to practice the concept which we have learned. So A, B, C, D are the distinct prime numbers. And A is smallest prime. If A is smallest prime, then it should be 2, because smallest prime is 2. Now if A is 2, then A multiplied by B multiplied by C multiplied by D. A is 2 and 2 is even number, and we clearly know that if even number is multiplied by any number, then we will get even number itself. So we can say that it is an even number, but one option is prime number. We can clearly say that it has a different product of different prime numbers. So it has a more than 2 factor, then it should not be a prime number. So we can say that it is not a prime number, it is not an odd number, it should be even number. So your answer is option C, which is even number. Okay, I hope you all solve this, you are able to solve this type of questions. These all questions are very basic questions. These all questions use the basic properties of a number: prime numbers, even numbers, and odd numbers. So the next question is, the sum of 4 consecutive integers is 210. Sum of 4 consecutive integer is 210. Which one of these 4 integer is prime? Which one from these 4 integer is prime? Okay, so first of all, you have to assume consecutive numbers. Before assuming the consecutive numbers, you have to know that what are the consecutive numbers. Consecutive numbers are those integers, those integers which have the difference of 1. Means if x, then the next consecutive number of x is x plus 1, then next is x plus 2, then next is x plus 3, and so on. We have to assume 4 consecutive integers. So let integers are x, x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3. These are the 4 consecutive integers that we have assumed. Now according to question, sum of these 4 consecutive integers is 210. That means x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3 is equal to 210. Okay, now 1, 2, 3, 4, that means 4x plus 3, 2, 5 plus 6 is equal to 210. It means 4x is equal to 210 minus 6 it is equal to 204. 4x is equal to 204. Now if x is equal to 204, then x is equal to 51. If x is equal to 51, then integers are 51, 52, 53 and 54. Now our question is that you have to identify that which one of these four integers is a prime. You have to identify this, that among these four integers which one is a prime number. So clearly we can say that 51 is not a prime number because it is divisible by 3 also. 52 is not a prime number, and same 54 is also not a prime number. So the prime number is 53. So our final answer is 53. The prime number among these consecutive integers is 53. Clear? So the next question is, if P, Q, R are three natural numbers such that P, Q are prime and Q divides PR, then out of this following the correct statement is. Out of this you have to find the correct statement from this. Again my suggestion is, please pause this video and try yourself. Okay. Similarly, we use to solve this question, we use same concept to solve these questions. Very basic information about the numbers. P, Q are three natural numbers. P, Q are natural numbers. Okay, and P, Q are prime. P, Q is prime number. And Q divides PR. Q divides PR. That means PR is divisible by Q, or we can write it as okay. PQ are natural number. Next information is PQ is a prime number. P and Q are prime numbers, and PR is divisible by Q. Here in the question it is given that P and Q are prime number. If P and Q are a prime number, then we clearly say that P is not divisible by Q. We clearly say that P is not divisible by Q. Why? Because P and Q both are prime numbers. So P and Q is not divisible. P not divisible by Q. If P is not divisible by Q and PR is divisible by Q, then we can say that R should be divisible by Q. What it means? It means R should be divisible by Q. So R should be divisible by Q, or we can say that Q divides R. So the first option is correct. Now let's check for other options. P divides R. We cannot say P divides R. P divides QR. P divides QR. We cannot say, again we cannot say P divides QR. P divides PQ. PQ divide by P. We can divide PQ by P. So we can say that P divides PQ because PQ is divisible by P. Okay. So D is also correct. Here PR means P multiplied by R and PQ means P multiplied by Q. If you got confused what is the meaning of PR and PQ, then PR and PQ means P multiplied by R and PQ means P multiplied by Q. So for this question we have two correct options, A and D. Okay. Now dear students, we have to finish today's class here. In today's class we discuss about the classification of numbers and practice some questions based on it. So thank you. and have a nice day.